what a start. Inside out and upside down. No stress, I'ma clean up this mess.
Hi, it's Leigh here. Thanks for coming back and spending some time with me today. Up to week 19 of the Margarete Miller Challenge. So the prompts for this week are dancing, a label, the next noun you hear someone saying, something in black and white, a geometrical shape, and the bonus is something stapled. I'm going to use this book, which is a planner that I never really filled out properly. I only did a couple of months and then forgot about it as usual. But I like it because it's got the spiral, and I think that makes it easier for doing the collage work in. So that's my book. Here's the things I've got. For dancing, I have a couple of pictures. That ballerina I tore out of a magazine. I really love that. I love her shadow on the wall, but she's quite big, so I'm not sure about her. Then on Pixabay I downloaded a couple of these images. I actually prefer this one over that one. So she might be the one that gets used, not sure. So a label, I have a couple of labels here. I've got this one that Julie sent to me in amongst her happy mail, so that's one that I may use. I've also got some stick-on labels that I could stamp on, or even just stick onto the page and paint over or something. The next noun you hear someone saying. Don't know about that. The last noun I can remember hearing someone say was when my husband asked what roast we were going to have, and I said we were going to have roast pork. So I've got a little piggy stamp, but other than that I might have to scrap that prompt. Something in black and white. So I've got a page out of a music exercise book for students. I've also downloaded this from Pixabay, so that's a geometric whirl doodle. So that's geometric, but then also as my geometric I've got some circles, so stamps, a doily stamp. This is also something that Julie sent to me. I think it's Tim Holtz, so just hold it up a bit closer. Got that, got them, and if I end up using the bonus, I've got my stapler. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to paint the background this time. I haven't done that for a while, so I'm going to work on, I might as well work on this page. I need to coat it in gesso for a start. So I will speed you through the gessoing of the page. That's nice and dry now. So I've got my inks out and I'm going to put some ink drips on here. Don't want to put too much on really, because there's going to be quite a bit of paper over the top of it. Okay, so I've got this purple, which is beautiful. Just going to spray a little bit of water onto that. Should I drip or flick or splatter or smush? Not sure. Drip, I think. That's a nice colour, that. I'll just smush the last bits of that on. Actually, I'll go over the lot of it. I'm not worried that you can still see the paper through the gesso, that's fine. The other colour I want to put on there is this turquoise colour, so it's deep turquoise. I won't put quite as much out. Excuse me. That's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. I'm just going to smush that on in places. And then the other colour that I want to put on there is some gold. Oh, that was close. Almost an accident. Yeah, I'm just going to use the acrylic block to squash that out, spread it out. Just press it on and you can see what it does underneath the plate there. I'll just clean that off so you can really see that drop, what happens to it. As you push the plate, the acrylic down on top of it and it spreads it around. Making very good contact there. Okay, that'll do for that. And I've got a distress ink, it's called Evergreen Bough. So I'm just going to run that along the edge of the page before I get too much more muck on there. Okay. The other thing I would like to do is I might do some embossing. I thought about using the little pig stamp, and I do have some really quite nice embossing powders. So I've got this one, which is, it's embossing glaze, so I suppose it's the same, works the same. Then I've got these two, one's called Bang, the other one's called Fairy Tale. Those two are got a aqua sort of colour in them. This is pink, so I probably wouldn't use that. Fairy Tale is gold, so that's a possibility. Just going to get my embossing ink. Now I haven't done this very often, so pardon me if I stuff it up. Wonder if I should do it on a piece of paper first. It would probably be a good idea to make sure it's going to work. Okay, so that's my embossing ink. That's my stamp. What colour? I want to try this greeny coloured embossing glaze. I don't know whether it actually is an embossing powder or not, but I'm going to find out. So far so good. I'll just get my heat gun, see how that goes. That looks pretty good actually. Wonder if I just should stick that on there, use it as one of my collage papers. It's pretty cute. It's a shame he's going to end up as dinner. Well. they didn't taste so good we wouldn't eat them. Yeah, I think I'll actually use that. So I'll put that to the side. Now I need to work out what I'm going to do as far as using these pieces. So I'm just going to make up my mind off camera. Well, I've cut all my elements out and this is my design. So there's my black and white. I'm not going to put the noun in, so I have something stapled. So that's just a couple of circles cut out of paper, and that's painted paper. That's another bit of painted paper, so that's just an oblong and a stamped piece of paper. So I've stapled them together. So that's my stapled thing. My geometric shape are these two punch outs, paper punch outs. They're from a painting of something that I've done and chopped up. So what I'm doing with my girl is she's going to be holding one ball, they're balls, in her hand, and then the other ball's going to be balancing on her feet, on her foot I should say, and she'll be on the label. So I think that's everything if I do that. So dancing, a label, not doing the noun, something black and white, geometric shapes, and then something stapled. So I'm going to glue them all down and then do a little bit more of decorating on the page. So I'll leave that till last. I'm actually thinking I might put it down here a bit so I've got a bit more room. I wanted the label underneath the girl, the dancer, so that she stands out a bit more. And I might get my, what do they call, gelatos out and give her a bit of colour. Alright, so I'm just going to use this nori paste and put that down with. I'm just going to tack them together to start with. I like her pose, it's nice and dynamic. I hope everybody's having a good day, enjoying the weekend. It's the first weekend for 3 weeks that we haven't had a public holiday. So it's been one after the other since Easter over here. Okay, so we're going to place that about there. Need to stick down her arms and her feet, I should say. This paste is a little bit like Mod Podge, similar. I bought it on Amazon. Can't remember how much it was. It wasn't super cheap, but it wasn't really expensive. It wasn't as expensive as Mod Podge. Works pretty well. Okay, let's put the balls in. I think she should have the green one there, I think. The blue one up there, or the other way around. Let's try it. Oh, I think it looks better this way. So put the green one up in her hand. And this one going on her foot, balanced on her foot. Very clever. What's missing? The stapled. Something stapled. It's in my little cluster. And that. Oh, I think I'll put it there. It's a nice bright pop of colour down the bottom. Now, I would like to use some gesso and just knock back the ink a little bit. It's a little bit too bright. Should I use gesso or white ink? Make sure they're all stuck down. I think the gesso is probably the best idea. Just going to go around the elements to start with, just so they stand out a little bit more. There's just a little bit more contrast. Just need to be careful that I don't smudge the ink too much. Just noticed then that it was starting to smudge there, just where that gold is. I think it looks better with the gesso because it's making the lady stand out from the page a bit better than she was before. I'll see what it looks like when I've finished. I might not need to put any colour on her at all. Okay, that's not too bad, but I'm going to go around everything with a marker. Just want to dry it off first. Just noticed there's a couple of places where I didn't get enough glue, so I'm just going to stick that down. Somewhere along here too. I'm going to spread it just a little bit too thin. Alrighty, so I'm just wondering, I did say I was going to go around it with a marker, but now I'm thinking maybe a watercolour pencil would be better, or even, what have I got here? Get rid of this before I knock it over. Don't really want to use charcoal. What's this? Just earth tone pencil. It might work because it's a sort of a grey colour, so it creates just a shadow. So Julie and I's challenge, the doodle challenge, is coming up again on the 18th of this month, and for this month it's a geometrical, coincidentally, a geometrical doodle. Yeah, so I hope you'll join us for that. Join in would be even better. So if you're wanting details of how to take part in that collaboration, so it's an open collaboration, you can join in anytime you like. That's all in my description box. And there's a link to the actual prompt list that you can print off if you would like that. Oh, that gesso's a little bit wet there. The pencil's actually removing this gesso. Okay, so I might just leave that as it is and get my gelatos and just put a hint of some colour on her legs and arms. Alrighty, so I've got a couple of different colours here. I'm just going to put some pink, just a touch on her leg. Might need a little bit of water to spread that around. That's better. And down the front of her leg. Okay, so that'll do for that colour. Just going around these elements, not the dancer, just the square bits in the round circles. I'm just smudging that with the dry finger. I do want to go over it again with a little bit of this lovely aqua blue. It's really pretty. I'm going to go around the edge of the page there. I forgot about these when I was inking the edge of this page. Yeah, I think this is more dynamic than the actual distress ink. And just smudging that with my dry finger. Got a black watercolour. Just want to try and go around her head a little bit. I think it's black. It's still quite wet, that page. I'll just dry that off a bit. Oh, that's the wrong one. Wondering why it won't spread. That wasn't watercolour pencil. Picked the wrong one up. This is it. Okay, I thought this was black, but it's actually brown. So that's alright. Let's find the black one. the right one now, hopefully. Oh, her legs come up again. Doesn't want to stick there for some reason. Maybe there's, maybe there was no glue coming out. It's definitely coming out now. So I've wet that pencil, dunked it in the water. So when you use watercolour pencils, you can either draw straight onto the paper and then wet it with a brush, or you can dunk the pencil, which is what I'm doing now, and you can see how much of a difference that makes. I feel like it's still wet in that area, but it shouldn't be. Ooh. That's a bit wet. There's a bit of water on the end of the pencil. Oh, she's coming up there too. I wonder if that paste, that nori paste, doesn't like the heat gun. Perhaps. I wonder, should I go around this? I say, should I go round it as I'm going round it? So the answer's right in front of you. Works really well when you dunk it. Okay, what else does it need? Splatters, I think. Gold splatters. I don't know if I've done I have actually done a collage yet that I haven't put gold splatters on. Those two colours are unbelievably beautiful when you put them together. It's a real tropical colour. This is nice and bright compared to last week's, which was very vintagey. A lot of black and white in it. Looks a bit bare up there to me. I'm not sure why. I think it's because the gesso moved the paint, the ink up in this area, which spread it around. But up here, it didn't do. You know, that hasn't happened. So I'm just to see whether that is the case or not, I'm going to just apply some water here. No, it might be too too late. Well, it's not too bad. I'll pick up some of that gelato and see if I can bring that down. I think a little bit of this orange, just a touch. Just get rid of that white, the very white. There's one more thing that I want to do, and that is to stamp some circles on there somehow. I've got a piece of a cardboard tube somewhere. I'm just going to get that. Changed my mind about using the cardboard tube for this because I decided to use ink, and I think the ink would just soak into the cardboard tube. No, don't do that. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that. It seems a shame to waste that ink, so I'm going to just water it down a little bit. Paint some. Maybe I should do some splatters in it. Let's see if I can get it to splatter. It's acrylic ink, so it dries really fast. There we go. And just a few gold splatters. I've got my gold mist. I wonder if I can just use the, yeah, that's it. Okay, so I think I'm going to call that done. So we've got dancing, we've got a label. No, didn't use the third prompt, which was the next noun you hear someone saying. So I've used the bonus instead, which was something stapled, which is my little cluster down the bottom. Something in black and white was my paper there. And a geometric shape is the circles. So that's all done. I'm going to paste that on there somewhere where it won't get all mucked up. Click on the link below in my description box to see Julie's collage for this week. I think she's going to do one. And today is the 7th of the 5th, 22. And that was week 19 of the Margarete Miller Challenge. Collage challenge, I should say. Just can't help myself. Got some bright pink paint in my hand. Gotta do something with it. Okay, that'll do. Enough. Alright. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tune in for the doodle challenge. Join in, please. We love to have everyone take part in that. It's been good fun. So that's 2022 Doodle Challenge, MAR for May. And links to all that is in my description box. So until then, remember that creativity is contagious. Pass it on. Be kinder than you need to be. And I'll see you in the next video. So cheers from Australia. Hooroo!